All right, welcome back to the second segment of the discussion program. Today is also still here. We are looking at Nigeria's economy in retrospect and projecting to 2023 because indices and of course records have shown that it's not, it's giving us palpable tension. We just read in the papers this morning that the large chunk of debt, so to say, is like a booby trap for the incoming administration, and the politicians keep on going on with their campaign and see if it doesn't matter, everything could be solved. Anyway, we are looking at it from the perspective of an expert. He's an economist, he's a financial expert, even though he's also a musician, but he's at home talking about knowing what's going on concerning the financial aspects of the nation and, of course, economy of the nation. So he's a qualified guest joining us via Zoom, Austin Adigwe. Austin, good morning.
Good morning, thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, today, Olanino.
All right. I'd like to start with you on these notes where Akim stopped. Just some few days ago, the president presented the budget to the National Assembly, and one of the highlights of the budget is the deficit, and that the government is still going to borrow to fund this deficit. Now, the debt servicing, the larger chunk of the revenue made by the country in outgone year 2022 was for debt servicing. Now, any hope for this country when it comes to our debt burden?
Okay, so for the current of our economic managers, they've actually shown that we can stockpile debt stock with little or nothing, impact on the ordinary man. There is actually nothing wrong in debt stock, if it is actually for developmental purposes in an economy. There are investments that you could actually finance using debt stock that can pay itself back. But in the case of Nigeria, it is completely different. That's why we're all worried. Looking at where we're coming from, and looking at where we are today, the difference is huge. And yet we don't see these things impact in, our lives as citizens, as Nigerians. When this administration took over in 2015, our total debt stock was 12.1 trillion, both federal and state. Today, as we speak now, we are faring at 44-point-something trillion in debt stock. And when you put now these ways and means that CBN also have been breaking the law to give to federal government, when you factor in the 23.2 trillion, it moves to about 63 trillion. So you begin to wonder the impact of all this borrowing. In the same time that we borrowed so much, I just want to share the concerns of Nigeria. Not necessarily that taking loan is bad, but if the proceeds of that loan is not impactful, then it becomes worrisome. Let me just give you some statistics. Within this same period that we took this much loan, the misery index of Nigeria also rose. You should know that misery index is a metric that measures the level of economic distress or hardship that people feel. So we borrow so much, yet our misery index rose from 18% in 2015 to 66.4% in 2022. In short, up by almost 6 points, because it was 59.4% in 2021. And that is the leveler, that is the foundation. So whatever you have done in an economy, it is meant to improve the standard of living of people. So if we have borrowed so much, and at the same time, Nigerians are feeling this magnitude of economic hardship, then one begins to wonder, in the same period that we are talking about this much borrowing, okay, UNESCO reported that Nigeria has over 20 million out of school children, the age of 16 to 15. So what are we actually investing this money on? In 2020, federal government purportedly spent 220 billion naira in a sector, okay, that was supposed to deliver education qualitatively. But within this period, between 2020 and 2022, out of school children grew from 11 million to 20 million. Then you look at our maternal mortality rate. That's actually so staggering. And that's where I really get worried. We have borrowed so much. Yet UNICEF in 2022 is putting us as the fourth highest country with high mortality rate. We are contributing 22% of the global maternal mortality rate. As we speak now, we record 576 deaths per 100,000 life deaths. We have borrowed so much. We have built up our debt stock. Yet, infant mortality is on the rise. We lose 69 children of every 1,000 children at life death. So when you look at all these indices, there is no access to potable water. Okay, if you claim there are infrastructural renewal or you created more infrastructure or new infrastructure, let's get it right.
Okay, Austin.
Efficiency will lead reduction in prices of goods and services. That we don't see. So that's why many people are worried that we are just building up stuff and we do not have anything to show for it.
Austin, let me ask you this question. 80.6% of revenue generated in Nigeria by the federal government is being used to service debt. What's the implication of that? That is one. Then, is it true that our debt profile is like a booby trap for incoming administration? Election is in February. What's your view about this? And of course, how optimistic are you? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let us start from the debt service model. You see, if you are spending that percentage of your revenue to service your debt, it tells you that whatever you took that loan or those loans to implement actually failed, or it's not capable of generating revenue to repay itself. That tells you that our borrowing actually failed. Now, if you're spending 80% of your total revenue to service your debt, of course, you know a lot of things will suffer. In economies, you have what is called opportunity cost. If you choose, of course, to service your debt so that you don't default on your obligation, that could lead to sovereign debt crisis. If you want to service your debt, it means that a lot of things will suffer. A lot of
all right, I think we lost. Okay. Well, it's a network thing.
Hello?
You go ahead, Austin.
Okay. So in conclusion, if you're spending that much to service your debt, that government will be incapacitated because you will not be able to meet up your other obligations, okay, which also requires the same resources to provide. Now, in the case of whether 77 billion is a movie trap for the next coming administration, of course, I don't need to even say anything about that, because with that huge debt stock, okay, matched with investment that are currently not generating income to pay back, of course, the incoming government will struggle, and that's why we need to ensure that economic managers get into the office. Otherwise, we are doomed. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but that's all the truth. Because a lot will happen. In macro economy, there's what is called lag. Whoever is coming in now is not going to do any magic. It takes time for those variables to work themselves out. But at least we need to start on the right trajectory. We need to bring forward policies that can begin to address these issues. It's not going to happen overnight. But if we don't start, then Nigeria will think. We will get into what is called sovereign debt crisis. If some of you have heard of Venezuela, our story will just, Venezuela story will just be a small case to Nigeria because of our population. You understand it? So we just
All right, we have Austin, are you still there? All right, we're looking at the Nigeria economy in retrospect. I mean, from an expert, are you afraid?
He said something that is, I mean, we have to make sure election 2023 would decide if our economy is going to be better or not. He said you have to make sure that real economic experts, economic managers are in power.
Okay.
And that is very fair. I think he's back now.
Yeah. Right.
Hello. Can you hear us now?
Austin, can you hear us?
yeah.
So they go ahead.
So I would like to ask I would like to ask you, yes, the global economy is under a little bit of stress right now. We've seen inflation go on the high side in countries like UK and some places in US. And in Nigeria, our inflation is at the record high, like it has never been before. Now, the CBN is trying to bring in some policies to mop up liquidity, and that brought about the cash withdrawal limits. That brought about the design of currency, just because we know we have so much money that are not in the banks. How this policy in 2022, do you think is the right step in the right direction?
Okay, you see, as you rightly pointed, there is global slowdown in economic activities. Inflation is not peculiar to the Nigerian situation. However, we are also not handling it the way other nations are handling it. Now, for an OPEC nation, Nigeria is an OPEC nation. I'm always amazed when we begin to compare Nigeria as an OPEC nation to nations that don't even have 1/10 of the natural resources that God has imposed on this nation. OPEC nations of Africa, even go out of Africa, don't have double-digit inflation, even with these global distortions. You can go and verify all these records. OPEC nations in Africa here don't have double-digit inflation, because this is also a period where oil-producing countries are smiling to the bank. They have also increased their revenue, but we are yet stealing our own revenue through crude oil theft that cannot be done, perpetrated by ordinary people like you and I. It is also those in power, those in government, those that have the influence. So while others are also using the increased revenue to better their laws. We cannot even, is it not so shameful that as a country, we cannot even meet up our OPEC quota? The more we produce, the more revenue we generate, right? And we say we have revenue problems. The finance minister attested to that. What we have is revenue problems. You have revenue problems and you are also not meeting up your OPEC quota. Is that not an aberration? Does it actually show that we are serious about coming out of this economic conundrum? It doesn't look like, as far as I'm concerned. So inflation is a global thing now, but at what rate, at what percentage? Now let me shock you. If you look at the figures that NBC published, we can just use food inflation, all right, to have this discussion. NBS is putting food inflation at 24.13 as of November 2022. Now, year on year, the increase in food inflation is around 6.something%, because November 2021 inflation was just at 18.3. But ask yourself, is there any food item? Is there any food item in this country or any consumable that has not increased by at least 45%? What are the staple food that we consume in this country? Rice in 2021 was 30,000. Some sold for 25,000. This year it sold for as high as 45,000. That's over 50% increase. And I also understand the methodology that MPS uses. Okay, 10.5 informal. They are looking at about 700 and something food items. At the end of the day, you're taking a weighted average. You and I know that there is no commodity that has dropped in price. So the inflation figure we have, as far as I'm concerned, is highly conservative. I won't say it is not the figure, but I will say Nigerian inflation is above 50% if we want to tell ourselves the truth. You see, we need to even understand where we are before we need to proper solution. I understand that we don't run a data-driven economy, but if you use the rule of thumb, check, is it bread, is it rice, is it beans, is it palm oil, is it even live chicken? What I said is dropping, okay, the general price level so that the difference that we are seeing now is not 6%. If it's 6%, it won't be priced. So Nigerian case is terrible. We are not where our colleagues, our league, countries in the same bracket should be. We are far away. We are far away. So even if you look at general inflation at 21.47%, you ask yourself, you talk about CBN's policy, the monetary policy. Look, the first major problem we have is that there is no boundary between fiscal policy and monetary policy in Nigeria. So federal government is dragging on one side, CBN is dragging on the other side. So the economy is even confusing. Federal government has sustained deficit financing for years, and that has created structural inflation. When you continue to run a deficit budget that is supplemented through ways and means like CBN, who then is responsible for the inflation? The inflationary pressure, then it's just CBN is responsible. The ways and means were supposed to just be a buffer that we have a shortfall in our funding needs, and you provide that. And the law requires that before another ways and means is given, the previous one must have been paid off. Before 2015, we were less than 1 trillion, about 900 and something billion in ways and means. Today we're talking about 23 trillion. By now, people should be resigning. By now, Nigerian people should be, taking quite a number of people to court to go and face the music because they've broken the law. In terms of the percentage of revenue that should be given in ways and means, in terms of the procedure of assessing ways and means. You see, you have.
Okay, Austin, we are hitting the home stretch. Austin, are you there? Let me ask this question. Austin, as we begin to round off, how much of the drive towards a cashless economy, cashless policy, will galvanize the nation's economy as we enter the new year? How much of that will revive the dwindling fortune of the nation, economic-wise?
Okay, so the truth is, CBN got it right with this cash that we use for our transactions. They got it right. If we must develop as a nation, we need to deliberately move away from this cash economy and begin to look at what other nations that we aspire to be like are also doing. Electronic means of payment or electronic payment solution is
wow.
$10,000 and you pay cash. You be arrested. Now, why do you think Nigerians are so fixated on cash? Let me tell you. Cash is central to crime and criminality. Crime is central. So whether corruption, whether robbery, whether kidnapping or ransom, everything all depends on cash. So if you take out cash from the equation, you would have solved 70% of our corruption problems. You would have reduced or removed the incentive for people to always attack others. Because you know that this person you are attacking doesn't have any cash to give you. And should you also require him to make a transfer, then there is audit trail. At any given point in time, you'll be trapped. Criminals don't always want their activities traced back to them. So the pushback we have in the system now is not because the policy is bad. The policy is not bad. Some will say those in rural areas, they don't have internet, whatever. Hey, remember, in this country, there are only two tribes, the privileged and the less privileged. The privileged ones will always oppress the less privileged ones. Why the less privileged ones will fight and defeat?
Anyway, Austin, that's how much you can take. Thank you very much for being part of the program. We've been looking at Nigeria's economy in retrospect, and our guest from Lagos, Austin Adigwe, has been actually dissecting this issue, where our fears are, where our hopes are, and of course, I think he ended in an optimistic note that at least one of the programs been
the cash withdrawal limit.
Yeah, the cashless policy we are embarking on will definitely help in all ramifications. Austin Adigwe, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, that's how it's going to be today. If you want to say, thank God it's Friday. We didn't say it when we came, but you can say.
Thank God it's Friday. For some, it's time to relax, but for us, it's time to go and work. And we would like to say
because we are passionate about our job, so it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. Weekends don't really matter.
Yeah. All right, that's how it's going to be as far as this first Friday of the year is concerned, and of course, as far as New Dawn this Friday is concerned, with Tunde Olaniro and Akim Akitunde. Well, once again, because this is the first time you'll be seeing us on the program, just like Tunde said when we came in. Happy New Year. We hope to see you again Friday and many more Fridays as the year progresses. Thanks for watching.